What's up, YouTube? Hope everybody had an awesome Christmas. Whatever religion you celebrate, it was still Christmas. December 25th is always Christmas, despite the fact that Jesus wasn't born on the 25th, but that's a whole other issue. Anyway, today we're going to talk 2016 Grammys. Now, I realize that the nominations were released December 7th, so as of today, I am 19 days late. But, I figure any time in between nominations and the actual ceremony is a good time to discuss who I think should win, who I think will win, and anything in between. What's funny is that if you're a hip-hop fan, or a metal fan, or a rock fan, or a fan of really any music with artistic merit, the Grammys have probably insulted you in some way with their historic ridiculousness, just some of the worst decisions made by human beings, period, let alone music industry people who are supposed to be knowledgeable. You look back through the years of hip-hop and the fact that Nas has never won a Grammy and Young MC has. You look through metal, of course, the most famous snub being this band Metallica when Jethro Tull won a Grammy Award over the Black Album. The disrespect to real musicianship and real music is very well documented, but for some reason, there's still something so fascinating about this kind of high-esteemed award ceremony that recognizes basically what happened in the last year of music. It basically brings us up to speed. What were the big releases? Like it or not, the Grammys do a good job of documenting what was hot, what was popular, what was in the public eye. Unfortunately, popularity shouldn't necessarily influence decisions, but that was definitely the case, especially with Macklemore a couple years ago beating out Kendrick Lamar. But despite the history of the Grammys, the fact is that in the last year, me personally, I have been as up on popular music as I ever have been in my entire life. So when this list came out, it was really interesting to me, and I'd love to discuss 7 categories in particular that really piqued my interest and really drew a reaction immediately, just based on the style of music or the particular releases that were nominated. So we're going to start with really the biggest and most obvious category, which is Album of the Year. Album of the Year to me is always the biggest category because anybody can release a single, a hit song, a hit record, but a body of work that an esteemed board of people considers to be the best body of work in an art form over a year-long period is a big deal. So the nominees for Album of the Year: Sound and Color, Alabama Shakes; To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick Lamar; Traveler by Chris Stapleton; 1989 by Taylor Swift; and Beauty Behind the Madness by The Weeknd. What's funny is there's 5 albums here, and 3 have absolutely zero shot. It's To Pimp a Butterfly or 1989, Kendrick Lamar, Taylor Swift, 2 of the biggest albums of the past year, one critically, one commercially. Me, of course, my pick, and we'll get to year-end lists in a couple of days when I release mine, my pick is most certainly To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar. I think it's one of the most important albums that has been released in the past 15, 20 years. I listened to it today, actually, at the gym, and it's still, we're, 9 months in now, and it's still fantastic. I wouldn't be surprised if Taylor Swift did get a Grammy just because 1989 has 3 or 4 major singles on it, where To Pimp a Butterfly is more a body of work. But the fact is that Kendrick Lamar got 11 nominations, which basically means that the Grammys are trying as hard as they possibly can to compensate for snubbing Kendrick with the Macklemore thing a couple years ago. So I actually think that Kendrick's going to have an unbelievable edge in every category he's nominated in, just because people feel guilty for the whole racially charged issue of Macklemore beating him out. So my pick is To Pimp a Butterfly, and my prediction is also To Pimp a Butterfly for Album of the Year. And one more quick thing I want to point out before moving on to this next category is last year in the 2015 Grammys, Kendrick won a Grammy for Best Rap Song with the song I. And this was definitely the first step of the Grammys giving him some sort of consolation. And the evidence to that is the fact that 0 to 100 by Drake, 3005 by Childish Gambino, and Rap God by Eminem were also in that category. And let's face it, I is one of the worst songs on To Pimp a Butterfly, and it was not a well-received single when it came out. It was good. I was personally into it, and a lot of people praised it for its upbeat nature and its positive message. But the truth is that Rap God 0 to 100 and 3005 were much bigger and more acclaimed hip-hop singles than I. So that's kind of a little bit more evidence that a lot of things I think are going to go Kendrick's way this year. Next category is Record of the Year, nominees being Really Love, D'Angelo and the Vanguard, Uptown Funk, Mark Ronson and Bruno Mars, Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran, Blank Space by Taylor Swift, and Can't Feel My Face by The Weeknd. First off, for Record of the Year, where the fuck is Fetty Wap? I'm sorry. Like, I don't care how sick of Trap Queen you are by now, being that it's over a year old. That song dominated airwaves in a much bigger way, certainly, than D'Angelo did. You can make arguments for the other four, but that, to me, is a snub. Fetty Wap in general got snubbed here, but we'll get to that later. My pick is certainly Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran, just for the quality of song. To me, I think that's the best song on this list. My prediction is Taylor Swift, Blank Space, just because she has ruffled the least feathers stylistically, being a song that's written by Max Martin. But definitely Uptown Funk also has a chance, as does Can't Feel My Face, but my prediction is Taylor Swift. Best Rap Album, the category that I'm definitely most excited about because they almost got it right here. Forest Hills Drive, J. Cole. Compton, Dr. Dre. If You're Reading This Is Too Late by Drake. To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick Lamar. And The Pink Print by Nicki Minaj. That's the album that, to me, should be replaced by Mac Miller Good AM, which is a fantastic album. I'll actually link in the description my blog review of that because I thought that was an incredibly good rap release and overlooked, unfortunately, in the Grammys. My prediction and pick is To Pimp a Butterfly because it wouldn't really make sense otherwise. If To Pimp a Butterfly is up for Album of the Year and might win, why wouldn't it be also Rap Album of the Year? But to be fair, any of these four have a legitimate shot because the Drake album was huge. It smashed records for a mixtape selling what it did, a mixtape. The J. Cole album was also very critically acclaimed, and the Dr. Dre album being the soundtrack to a major movie and just his parting shot as an artist that is so important to hip-hop as he is, really any of these albums have a chance, but to me, it wouldn't make sense if anybody but Kendrick won. Okay, Best Rap Performance. Nominees are Apparently by J. Cole, Back to Back by Drake, the Meek Mill diss song, Trap Queen by Fetty Wap, okay, All Right, Kendrick Lamar, Truffle Butter, Nicki Minaj, Drake, and Lil Wayne, and All Day by Kanye. My pick is without a doubt Back to Back because a diss song has never won a Grammy, and the fact that they got nominated is incredible. But more importantly, this is one of the biggest, not to mention musical moments, biggest rap moments of the year. That beef, that lyrical battle between Drake and Meek Mill. Not much of a lyrical battle because Meek Mill's diss track was so bad, he took it off his SoundCloud a day later. That being said, I think it would be incredible to see back-to-back win. My prediction is All Right by Kendrick Lamar for reasons that I've already discussed. But one other thing to mention here, Fetty Wap only got 2 nominations. It's pretty ridiculous given how big his singles were. You know, if you're going to nominate his self-titled debut that came out in October, that's crazy. But All Day has a chance as well, just Kanye being Kanye. But my prediction is definitely that they'll pick Kendrick. I would love, though, to see Drake take it home for back-to-back, one of the best diss tracks we've heard in years. Now, for the Best Rap Song category, we're definitely getting a little repetitive here, but the nominees are All Day, Kanye West, All Right, Kendrick Lamar, Energy by Drake, Glory by Common and John Legend, and Trap Queen by Fetty Wap. My pick most certainly being Trap Queen, just because of the snubs in every other category, in my opinion, and the fact that not only did it capture a snapshot of a musical trend, but it set a trend. Just this sing-songy delivery that Fetty Wap had over trap-based production, but a subject matter that was almost like a love song in a weird way. That's kind of what he made so unique about this song. That's one of the reasons to me why I think it got so popular. But this category is a fucking toss-up. I have absolutely zero predictions for who will win this category. I mean, you have Trap Queen for the reasons I just stated that I think it should win. You have All Day, All Right, which we've already discussed. We have Energy, which is one of the biggest songs off Drake's mixtape album. I don't know. Pick one. It's a mixtape or an album. And then you have Glory, which is from the Selma soundtrack, which is such an important cultural movie with where we're at and everything with the Black Lives Matter movement in 2015. So any of those songs really have a shot. Now we have Metal Performance. This is where my blood really starts to boil, because this category, I mean, Motorhead won for a cover of a Metallica song. Jethro Tull beat out Metallica, as I mentioned earlier. The idiocy of Grammy in the metal and hard rock categories. The fact that metal doesn't even have an album category is ridiculous, first of all. But this year, they made some decent decisions in terms of nominations. You have Identity by August Burns Red. That's the one that shouldn't be there. Cerisi by Ghost. And I really don't know how to pronounce that, but I always call it Cerisi. 512 by Lamb of God. Thank You by Seven Dust, the opening track off the new album Kill the Flaw. And Custer by Slipknot off the Grey Chapter. Custer's really random track to pick from that. The fact that The Devil and I didn't get the nod, or at least negative one, or at least a bigger song. AOV is my personal favorite. That's what I would nominate. But aside from Identity and maybe the Seven Dust song, this is a decent list. To me, there's a real toss-up in terms of quality between the Ghost tune and 512 by Lamb of God. Those are literally my two favorite metal songs of the year. I'm going to put 512 by a hair just because of the intensity of the lyrical content, really of just on all of that album. But Cerisi by Ghost is an incredibly good metal song. And because they're so fucking clueless historically, I don't have any predictions. But if Ghost or Lamb of God won, I'd be really, really stoked. And last but not least, we have the nominees for the Best Rock Album category, and they are Chaos and the Calm, James Bay, Kintsugi, Death Cab for Cutie, never knew how to pronounce that one, Mr. Asylum, Highly Suspect, Drones by Muse, and Point Five, The Grey Chapter by Slipknot. Alright. Here's what I propose. I think the Grammys need an alternative category, because alt-rock bands are sneaking into the rock category, and those are really two different genres. An alternative rock listener is not the same as a rock listener. I think they haven't fully grasped that concept yet. The fact that Death Cab for Cutie isn't here, and Highly Suspect, who made a good album. To me, they don't belong with Muse and Slipknot. That just doesn't make sense to me. And who the fuck is James Bay? I might sound really ignorant when I say that, but who the fuck is that? And why is he in my rock category? My pick definitely is Drones by Muse. The Slipknot album is my favorite on there, but that's a metal album, you fucking morons. That's a metal album. Get a metal album category. We get it. You're not going to televise it. That's okay. Just at least hand out an award to somebody. There's one fucking metal category. But Muse, Drones is a fabulous album. The best Muse album to me since Black Holes and Revelations. They made a straight-ahead rock album with Mutt Lange of Def Leppard and AC/DC fame producing. And that is one of my favorite albums of the year, period. And I would say my favorite rock album. To me, if you're going to put straight-ahead rock in here, then put Papa Roach in here. They had a good straight-ahead rock album with the album Fear. Get an alternative category, please. And just get a metal category so Slipknot doesn't have to for Slipknot to win a Grammy for their album, they have to be in a rock category with James Bay and Death Cab for Cutie. It's fucking ridiculous. So there you have it, my thoughts on 7 of the categories for the 2016 Grammys. Always a pleasure to watch these people fuck up in major ways. Every year, I just really enjoy it. And the thing is, though, this is so subjective that it really makes for a fun debate because nobody has the same opinion on this broad of a range of genres. So I really have fun dissecting them. Really looking forward to seeing the ceremony. It's one of the very few television programs I watch every year. Really just to watch them make the wrong decisions, but also to watch all the great performances. So I hope you enjoyed this, and make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, whatever. Let's keep spreading the love for music.